So, my experience with the Mini 2, coming right up. What's up, all you drone maniacs? Welcome back to Drone Logic for your drone and tech related info from my point of view. So, as you can tell by the title, I bought a Mini 2 and I never had any interest in any of the Minis because they really didn't offer me anything that I wasn't getting with my Mavic 2, with the exception of portability. However, DJI was offering, refurbished units with fly mode kits on their eBay channel, and for $4.99. Well, they dropped it to $4.49, and at that point, it was hard for me to pass that deal up because that was a great deal for that price. So I went ahead and I bought one. Now, this is not going to be no unboxing video because the drone came out almost a year ago, and there have been countless videos, and I've seen many of them of unboxing. This is just going to be a video of my own experience with the Mini 2. Now, when I ordered it, there were basically 5 key areas that I was very interested in experiencing, checking out for myself. 1 would be the Fly app. 2 would be the new controller. 3 would be the actual weight of the drone itself. 4 would be the AccuSync 2.0, and 5 would be the wind performance. Now, starting with the Fly app, all the videos I saw and the information I could gather basically kind of showed me that DJI put out an app that was kind of dumbed down for beginners because, as you know, the first Mini was the first drone to use this app, and it was going to supposedly appeal to people who are new to the hobby. So they took the app and they dumbed it down for newbies. Well, after experiencing it, I can say that's far from the truth. It's not dumbed down. It's more like streamlined. They pretty much remove a lot of clutter from the screen and pretty much streamline the process. They also made it so that you can get to a lot of the features and functions without going through multiple different apps, multiple different pages to get through. For instance, the manual settings. If you want to adjust your settings, there's a little camera symbol at the bottom right hand corner of the screen. You touch that and then it turns to auto, and you can set all your it was replaced by an auto symbol, and you can adjust all your settings that you want, your ISO, your shutter speed and whatnot. And if you want to turn back to auto settings, you just push the auto and it'll turn back to auto. So you have it easily accessible. Another example would be, Active Track. Now Active Track is always running, and if you want to track something, you just nearly draw a box around it on the screen at any time. Now, of course, this is not available on any of the Minis because they don't have obstacle avoidance. They just have downward facing sensors. But with the Air 2 and the Air 2S, this is present. But again, so you don't have to go through the quick shot menus to get to this. It's easily accessible, so it's just quick to get to. So they just simply created an app and it streamlined it so that you have a lot of things accessible to you. Now, what I don't like about it is that what I would rather have is I would like to have the time bar. They used to have the time bar across the top. Well, now they've replaced that with a circle, and inside the circle you get your battery percentage. And if you also have you have a green circle, but it'll wind down to red, giving you a idea of how much flight time you have. And if you want to get exactly how much flight time you have, you just merely touch the circle symbol, and it'll give you a diagram of letting you know how much time you have before returning home, how much time you have before forced landing, and how much time you have before the battery is depleted. All in all, like I said, I like the app. I would just rather have the time bar across the screen, but they did a very fine job with their app, again, just streamlining it while at the same time giving you all the professional functions that you would need, any professional would want. Now for the controller, One thing I've heard about this controller is that it's a lot more ergonomic, a lot more comfortable in hand, and I would have to agree it is definitely more ergonomic than the folding controller. Not that I had any problem with the folding controller, but it's definitely more comfortable. Now, what I love about this controller is that it has a bigger battery. Being a bigger controller, it has a bigger battery in it, and one thing I noticed when I fly with my Mavic 2 in the folding controller on a full charge, let's say if I would fly with two batteries, fully charged batteries, at the end of that session, it'll be that go from 100 or fully charged, it'll be down to like 75%, 70%. So you can do that maybe four to 3 to 4 times. Whereas with this new controller, I flew with both the batteries that came with the Fly More kit, and the controller itself was still at 4 bars. So you have a lot more battery life with this thing. That's one thing I really love about this drone, the controller. Another thing I really love is that it's easy to install the phone. With the traditional controller, folding controller, you may have to make sure you have sufficient amount of light, and you have to line the cable up with the port on your phone. Well, sometimes it can be difficult. Like I said, it's be difficult if you don't have enough light to see. Well, with the new controller, you just merely, like I say, flip the top up, bring the cable around the side, put your phone in, and you plug your phone in, and it's that simple. It's just so easy to do. It's easily accessible, and I also love the how you, like I said, you just easily store the cable away when you finish, and you push it down. Like I said, I love this new style controller. If I can have this with my Mavic 2, even if I can use this with the Mavic 2, I would. But like I said, I never had any issue with the folding controller. It works just fine, except for those few little key things. But beyond that, like I said, this new controller is definitely better. Now, my only issue though with the new controller, why I think that the traditional controller is better, is that it's a lot more narrow. It has a smaller profile. The traditional controller, when you take the phone, when you fold out your arms and you put your phone in it, you notice that it has a very small profile, about maybe so high. Well, is it with this controller, when you put a device in it, it gets longer, and it can get kind of top heavy. But beyond that, I still prefer this one over the traditional controller. Like I said, if I can use that with my Mavic 2, if DJI comes up with a if they come up with a firmware update that lets you use this, which the new controller with your Mavic 2, I would definitely prefer to use the new controller. Now on to the weight of the drone. We know that the drone it was designed to be sub 250 grams so that you don't have to register with the FAA. But it's 249 grams, and you really don't know, can't really get an accurate measurement for what that means unless you're holding it or you have some type of something that's 249 grams. But man, this thing is absolutely light. I mean, it's just amazing how light and small this thing is. I knew it was light, but it really didn't really set in until I actually picked it up. And man, this thing is light. And it's amazing how much technology they're able to pack into this thing. Such a small package. But man, like I said, you really have to hold it yourself to really experience just how light it is. Now, the sport thing, it will be IcuSync 2.0. Now, we know that the Mini 2 has IcuSync 2.0 in it, but I always question, is it actually IcuSync 2.0, or is it something that DJI just threw together, like, enhanced Wi-Fi, and called it IcuSync 2.4? Well, I can confirm it is most certainly IcuSync 2.0, and it performs just as good as my Mavic 2, and in some cases it's better. And probably because of the better antenna on the controller. But man, when they did IcuSync on this thing, is rock solid, no doubt about it. It is IcuSync 2.0. So that was definitely a concern of mine. That can go out the window. Now the last thing I wanted to test out was its actual wind performance. I know that so many people reported that the Mini 1 didn't perform very well in the wind. It wasn't as stable as say the other drones, and partly because DJI just elected not to go with the liquid polymer batteries to save on weight. So, lipo batteries are capable of throwing electrons at a faster rate with the drone, what the motors are asking for, and the drone is able to adjust faster. And they basically went with the lipo batteries with the Mini too, also with the beefier motor. So it is a lot more stable now. However, I have never been in a wind situation, so I can't really confirm it. I can tell you the Mavic 2 definitely performs well in the wind. The days after, when Ida passed, before it passed and my power went out, I had the foresight to charge my batteries. And after the storm passed, I had a few of my neighbors asking me to inspect their roofs, and I was able to do so. But in that the Mavic 2, it handled its own. And you can see the wind was zipping, and it was like they still fighting against the wind. But with the wind resistance, wind performance, and the gimbal, it handled it like a pro. And my question is, how much wind resistance can the Mini 2 handle? I mean, people say that it's better at handling wind resistance, better than the Mini, but how much and how well, I'll have to see as soon as I get on the windy day. Now, beyond that, like I said, I'm absolutely happy I bought this thing. I mean, I've been happy with this purchase ever since I got it. Been flying around, man. It's a hell of a product, and for what I got, man, I got a hell of a bargain. Now, I would suggest anybody go to their EB channel. I'll put a link in the description for where I bought mine. But if you want to go ahead, I would definitely thumbs up that now. But if you want to wait for I would say the imminent coming, the Mini 3, which is definitely, I hear reports that it should be released in November. If you want to wait, that's fine. But if you don't have a drone, I would say get a one and get it up in the air. But man, it's Mini 2. Man, I'm loving this purchase. But again, y'all, this has been my drone logic for the day. And as always, 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 until next time.